Okay. We set, it is now 9:37. I apologize again for the lateness of the hour, and I will open the meeting. And as is becoming our custom, we will start with public comments. We have Jan and Hebe. Either of you wish to make comments this morning?
Shall I start?
Sure.
As becomes our
custom.
I just want to follow up. I asked a few weeks ago about getting updated vision and text maps on the website, and was assured that that would be happening very soon, and as best I can tell, that hasn't happened yet.
Okay, so we have Jordan here, and Jordan's nodding her head. Jordan, can you give us an update?
Yes, so we had gotten an email from the mappers and had to check over some corrections or changes that have been made. And now we're still just waiting on the final PDF and final print to get here, so as soon as we get it.
And what about vision?
That same thing as well, with all the tax bill stuff, they're just finalizing stuff, and then that will be updated as well.
Thank you.
Yes.
Great news.
Thank you, Jordan.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I had a quick question about the tax rate.
Okay, Hebe?
I was just, with the increase in budget, I was wondering how you managed to keep it around 24. Were there reserves or school funds that were transferred over? I just don't know how it all works, Judy. I'm not criticizing in any way.
Oh, well, thank you. What I would like to do when Dina is back with us is have her give you either an email or a phone call. Basically, the Department of Revenue Administration looks at our operating budget that we passed last March, or this March, at town meeting, and then looks at revenues, and depending on the revenues, the tax rate is set. And some years in the past, an overlay is applied that comes out of our undesignated funds. But this year we did not do that and the tax rate is pennies less than last year's, but our tax bills, many people will see them go down because of the reassessment, the revaluation that happened. But that's my shortened version of how it works. So Dina is really a better person to explain it in more detail, I think. And she's going to be out at least through the end of this week. So probably sometime next week, if you want to give a call, she would be.
I'll follow up with her, thank you. I was just, because sometimes, I think last year there was excess in the school budget.
Yeah, so with the school budget, we did talk about this last night at the budget committee meeting. They dedicate, if there is excess, either to go into one of their capital reserve funds, and if there is excess past that, that does come back to the town, and it goes into the town's general fund. But doesn't happen every year that way.
Thank you.
You're welcome. If I confused you, I apologize for that as well.
No.
Okay. Rich, do you have questions?
Good morning, yes I do.
Good morning.
I wanted to follow up on the vision update. So we're waiting on the vision people or somebody to produce all the new information. And then going forward, is that gonna be updated on a fairly timely basis?
Do you mind
Go ahead.
if
Are
I
you talking
respond?
about the
You're
assessments?
the only one who knows anything, go ahead.
Yes, please.
Yes, so we did talk with Vision, and it within our contract, it can be a quarterly update on the web, so it would, if that
All right,
helps.
so, good, that's perfect answer.
Okay.
The last night, thank you again, Judy, for coming to the budget committee and to this meeting in the morning. You presented the budget request for the various clerks. Is that gonna be adequate to keep the updates flowing?
But I don't,
Will there be enough time will we have enough people on board so that these updates to vision can keep flowing?
so you're talking about not the software updates, but the actual content, the assessment,
Yes, the
property
people, the
assessments.
people to keep
The
those up to date.
sales, the deeds, whatever. The the town clerks aren't necessarily the ones that do the updating. I believe that it is mostly going to be Jordan's responsibility, as well as our assessor will also be doing
Right, I'm sorry,
updates.
I misspoke. Are the people that we employ, is the budget
In the
request
town?
sufficient to pay people in town to keep up to date?
There is one additional person that we might be looking to hire part-time, but we are not in a position to really delve into that at this point.
Right.
So all I can say is this is the staff we have at this point, and I'm hoping that Jordan is very capable. With Jordan and the assessor, we should be able to keep it mostly up to date.
Yep.
There might
Okay.
be times when it lags behind if there is a big project that comes in that pushes other
Right.
work off.
Right, okay. So, but it's your expectation that the budget you've requested will do it?
Well, it's my expectation that this budget is what we've requested. We could always ask for more people and more money.
Right, okay, good. One last question. My wife spent some time cleaning up trash in front of her house. We stuffed it in a blue bag that we secreted away from the last green up day or whatever. I took it to the transfer station and they accepted it, but they said, you know, we really aren't supposed to. And so what should citizens do with stuff they collect?
Oh, Rich, I don't know. I would
Okay.
suggest you do just what you did, or if it's not a lot of stuff, just throw it in with your own trash and toss it out. I know we have the once a year when it's a freebie with the right colored bag, and unfortunately, you're on Route 10, so you probably get a lot of
We get a
good.
fair amount, yes, we do.
And where I live off of Route 10 and Pinnacle, I have all kinds of interesting
We
things
get
that
double.
land in my yard.
Okay.
And I just toss them in my trash,
Okay.
but I
Yeah.
apologize for that. I wish we could do something different.
Debbie cleans up the turnpike all the time.
Yeah.
She can't, all she has to do is see you can, she's back out there.
Oh, okay, all right, well, we're not quite that religious.
Well, you don't know Debbie.
It is unfortunate, and I wish even that the state could go through and, I think Vermont uses some of the prisoners to do cleanup. I don't know about New Hampshire.
And, you know, those guys do it north of Wagner Woodlands, up
Yes.
to Orford Lund. so-
Up that way, right.
So they,
I was trying to think of the way to trap those people who are tossing the stuff out.
wouldn't that be satisfying? Probably grossly illegal, but.
Or pick it up after them and deliver it back to their house.
Oh.
Well, I thought about putting a,
Trail cam?
well, trail cam, but, or a pile of trash and saying that this is what we picked up off the thing, and then catching people throwing stuff out. You know, out there, it's one beer from the country store.
Yeah, great, yeah.
It takes that long to
I-
make it.
I'd like to say that I think it's a general problem, because we're one medium coffee from some coffee place in Fairleigh.
Okay, so, oh dear,
Okay.
I don't apologize, I'm not doing it,
No,
but it's too bad.
It's just like people have gotten a lot worse in the last 5 years.
They
I
seem,
think the trash is more bigger problem.
that's interesting.
Harrigan, who used to write the thing, what's his first name?
Who?
Harrigan.
Oh, yeah,
Somebody asked him why he never wrote about people that litter. He says, I don't write about them because they can't read.
oh, dear, okay, we're
Thank-
digressing.
Thank you, that's all the
You're
questions I
welcome,
have.
thank you. Okay, moving along, we have public session minutes from 10/27, and I believe that those minutes included notes from our non-public sessions because we didn't seal them, so we have one set, I think. That's what I'm seeing. Correct me if I'm wrong. What do we wish to do with the minutes from 10/27?
I'll move them.
I'll second them.
Thank you.
I looked as hard as I could, I couldn't find any edits to make.
Wow.
Oh.
It's very disappointing.
This is a bonus. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
And
David,
And Judy, aye. We are approved. Good work, Jordan. Okay, the manifest will be coming electronically. And what we do usually with that, I'm sure folks know, but each of us get it, each of us look at it. If we are okay with it, we individually send an email to Dina and we authorize Dina. I guess we come back in, we authorize approval of it, and then at some point we come in and sign it, be a manifest. Okay, so, budget discussions. Last night, we had a good working session. I think you guys all have a copy of the budget in your packet. You should have. And we presented a budget that had, and I'm going to have to look this up to make the exact right amount. Last night, there was an individual who was quite properly correcting me when I was not accurate. But the select board presented a budget with an increase of 2.88% from this year, and that included an 8.7% cost of living increase. So we had some questions that I will email forward to Dina, because I don't think we quite know the answers to them. One of the things that we cut was the salary for the fire chief, which is line 156. And one of the individuals at the budget committee asked the budget committee members and us to re-look at that. The chief's salary in '21 was $5,000. Last year it was put up to $6,250. The request this year was for $8,000, and the select board reduced that to $6,250, back to what it was this year. So just food for thought, if you think it should go back up. I know we did some cutting of other areas as well. Let's see, what else can I tell you about last night? One of the suggestions also was to look at the cost of the transfer station stickers, which I believe are $3 now, perhaps go up to $4 to help compensate for some of the increased costs there. I don't know how you folks feel about that, if you think that's maybe a good idea.
I don't have any issue with it.
yeah, me too.
Okay,
We
so,
should make it an even 5.
you think?
How much money does that bring in?
I don't have a revenue sheet right here, so I don't know.
Is it materials, is it,
It does help offset the cost.
you know?
So what
No
I'll
one's
do
gonna be
is,
too upset about a $5 sticker, it's once a year, right, or is it once a month?
no,
No.
it's whenever you throw out a bag of garbage,
On a bag of
it
garbage.
goes on a bag, so that might
Probably
be,
4 is more.
Yeah.
four might be an easier increase. Okay,
If you get it too high, then
Yeah.
roadside garbage picks up.
yeah,
That's okay, Rich is gonna.
Rich is gonna pick it up. Yeah, but then he's gonna want blue bags. Let's see, what else did we have? Couple of other things that I just need to run by Dina that I don't think this board needs to talk about. There was a question about one salary increase that seemed to exceed our 8.7. So I think that might just be an error. And that was it, I think. Rich was there if he had other comments to make, but it was generally well received, unless we had an error someplace that made it seem so reasonable. So we'll all be double checking those lines.
No, we've been working ever since I've been on the board, keep that budget under control.
Yep, Yep, that's right. We're really trying hard to do that. We spend a lot of time on it.
And Judy, I
Yes.
second your comments that it was quite a appropriate professional meeting, some good questions, and, okay, that's, so that was very good, and, we still do need to figure out how we came to 2.88%, but, yeah, I wondered if there, I said aloud that maybe that one way to have that happen would be to have an error, and I think Dick Jones' face fell, but, I was just saying, we have to check,
Yep.
because if there is a mistake, we want to find it now.
Yes, not after town meeting.
Well, the way that it gets big is you get too willing to spend money, and not spending money
Right.
is, as I've always said, is much more difficult than spending money.
Yep, good,
So,
thank you.
and if we need
Talk with
to.
my wife.
Now. This is not family counseling, Zane. It was a positive meeting and I thought it was very cooperative and, we do need to finesse the capital reserve funds, relook at the budget, and the budget committee meets again next week on those two items. I think we will need to do some of that probably by email because we don't have another meeting before next Wednesday. So-
You know I'm gone for 2 weeks after this, right?
Yes, I thought I had you down leaving on the,
Tomorrow.
aha, okay,
The whole family going, or?
yes,
Oh, that's gonna
we're
be quite a
jealous,
trip.
we all wanna go with you. Okay, so this is this tomorrow, all right, very good, well, Ben and I will be in charge. You'll be sorry,
We're gonna have a meeting without them?
I don't know, we'll see if we need to go over budget items.
I know,
There's
when
nothing on
I used to
calendar.
be chair of the planning board, when certain people didn't show up, the boys would play. Things would get passed that didn't otherwise get passed.
Thanks for I knew you were gonna be gone, I didn't realize it was tomorrow.
We'll have a good trip.
Yeah, we wish you well. Okay, HEB engineering notice, that will be in your packet. This is the Appalachian National Scenic Trail, and HEB has been there.
Just a second.
National Park Service has contracted with HEB to survey tracts of land in Lyme.
I'm sitting in the select board meeting.
Let's see, for a proposed land exchange with Bear Hill Conservancy Trust for the Appalachian National Scenic Trail. And I believe this is a notice that went out to all the abutters of the
Yeah, I've got
Appalachian
it.
Trail. I don't think there's anything we need to do about it.
Yeah, I wasn't clear, was
I
this
think-
sent to Lyme as a property owner, or?
I think we probably own abutting land somewhere, but they also, let town management know so that if people have
I was kind of
questions.
surprised by this, like, the letter is a little officious, and they kind of say, well, we'll be coming on your property and painting your trees and.
No, they sent me emails and asked if,
Oh,
if
okay.
we knew of ways they could get to the, up to the
To the
trail
trail.
and make it easier for them to do the work.
So what they're doing is marking or remarking property boundaries and blazing. So
They
anyone
got
with
good-
questions?
They got big buckets of yellow paint, they put a lot of it out.
Yeah,
Yeah, but if they're doing that on private property, they've gotta get permission.
That's right.
No, they're getting permission to get to the
To
trail.
go across
Because
the
the trail's
private
going up over the
property.
ridges, and they wanna know if they can get the shortest access to.
Yeah, but I would imagine if they're painting trees
They
on
do
somebody's
it-
private property.
No, it's not, they're on the boundary line, they're painting the trees.
they're not,
Okay.
they're painting their boundary
They're
lines.
I see.
they're surveyed boundary lines, but every 10 years they repaint.
Okay, so they're painting on the trail.
And they're not painting trees that haven't been painted before.
And it's usually, it's just a 4x4 or so.
Well, sometimes they're pretty generous with it.
Okay. We have an intent to cut for Stein at 19 Preston Road. Did you have a chance to look at that, Ben?
Yeah, I did, I don't, as always, there's usually not much trouble, I was just couldn't envision which lot it was, which was unusual for me.
Okay.
And you always look at these for us, what do you look for?
Well, I look, well, there's usually, you know, the amount of wood that they're cutting, and, cause I've had cuts done myself, that means something to me. But the, you know, 25,000 board feet is not a huge amount of wood. I had on my lot, we cut 3 acres and got 40,000 board feet of pine off it. Just had to be really big pine, but, so that's, you know, none of these numbers are excessive.
We have to approve this, right? So is there something that you could see on here that would make you say, I don't wanna approve this?
There's very little reason not to approve it unless I had other knowledge of something funny going on, you know. Because when you work with people in the forest industry, you know if there was a bad operator or something like that would be causing erosion or have a past history but for the most part, we really need to approve them and get them done quickly so they can get to work when the
So-
conditions are good.
What do we wish to do with this intent to cut?
I'll move it.
Thank you, Ben.
I'll second.
Thank you, David. All those in favor? Say aye.
Then I,
David, I.
Judy? Judy, aye. Okay, it is approved.
the worst thing you can do is sit on them and then it's costing the operator and landowner
You,
money.
Ben?
And then the rains may come and the thing.
Those two are the official ones, if you could sign it.
Good action. You almost have an extra bit.
Then, okay, that's approved. Fire department would like $2,227.12 approved by the select board for, now you need the second page that goes with this.
We can have to sign that, did we?
Oh, that's just
No.
the part.
So, the request is to come out of the capital reserve fund, I'll tell you which one in a minute. Town building major maintenance for work on the, fire department tower. So again, the amount is $2,227.12. There, as of the end of last year, there was $14,050 in the fund. Is that something that we can approve to come out of this capital reserve fund? And
There should be a copy.
let's see, as of now, which one is that? The town building major maintenance and repair fund. Right now, it has $19,000.50 in it.
Have either of you talked to them about what it is that they're doing here? Like, I looked at the Burlington Communications quote, but
I have not,
And Dina probably has.
yeah.
Yes.
But I don't have any trouble with it, it's requested by the fire chief.
yeah, okay.
Okay, so he asked to withdraw from the capital reserve fund $2,227.12. I'll move that.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Ben. All those in favor?
David, I.
And I,
Judy, aye. So you mark a note on yours that that's approved.
Could we just follow up though and get a little bit better explanation about what they're doing, just,
Okay? You please
no
keep over it.
rush, but I'd love to hear exactly what it is they're doing. It looks like they're fortifying or
Yeah.
improving the, some sort of,
Adding support,
to the radio transmitter antenna or something like that, but.
the tower,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. So we will, okay, this will tax you ever so slightly, Jordan. Yes. Would you, after the meetings, if you remember by then, get a hold of Aaron Rich and ask him just to shoot us an email with a little more detail. He can send it to you, you can forward it to us.
Okay.
Yeah, just a 1 sentence or 2 sentence explanation about what they're
That'd be
doing.
great.
Okay.
Then if it turns out that this is for, to improve the satellite reception at Aaron's house,
We
we
can
can
quick
rescind our
hold the
approval.
funds, yes. Okay. Oh, you guys are pretty cute. So we did that.
Well, you hired me, right, as a comic relief.
There is something that I felt we needed to take up, I don't really see it on the agenda, but it's this, State of New Hampshire Department of Natural and Cultural Resources for the Division of Forests and Lands. The forest fire, Mr. Kling, has applied for a grant, he's been given the grant, or I should say he's been awarded the grant, more correctly. And within 30 days of the notice of that award, the town needs, we need to vote to accept it and authorize by the end of the year a matching grant, a matching check to go to them. So, I'm trying to talk Ann Reed, which is never a good idea. It's a memorandum of understanding, it has to be signed and returned to their office. The 30 days would be November 20th, so that's kind of right around the corner. And the grant amount, where is the grant amount?
I think it's in the third sentence.
1, 2, 3, down.
Oh, no.
The amount, and please note, in order to meet, in order for state and federal, I think it's like, I thought, for some reason I thought it was like $3,000.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
$2,751.71.
okay. Total, yes, 2751.71. So, this will either have to come out of this year's operating budget or next year's operating budget, and we're not exactly sure whether it would be a warrant article or whether we would be asking to have the town authorize removing these funds out of capital reserve fund. But what we need to do initially is to either agree or not agree to match the funds.
I'll make a motion to match the funds.
I'll second.
Okay.
It's a good deal, right?
I think it is a good deal. It's, you know, it's 50% of the project paid for.
Well, you know, over the year, just being, where I live in the Appalachian Trail going on top of me, there's been, over the years, 2 or 3 fires started by people on the trail. And, you know, they gotta get up there and respond to them.
Yep.
There's been a lightning strike out beyond me that started cooking.
Cooking, yeah.
did an
So,
acre or
and this
two.
is, it looks like this is for equipment and other necessary gear for forest firefighting, and I know they've been underfunded in the past, so, so you can add to your notice to Aaron that we've approved, oh, we should vote to approve it, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
David, aye.
Judy, aye, so it is approved, and we will work out the details of how we're gonna get that money to him.
And the good thing is, every time there is one of those, there's all kinds of guys that respond, so.
Yep,
So
Yeah,
it's
we
just
do.
about giving them a little better equipment.
Excellent. Oh, good lord, okay. The, Grafton County Economic Development Council, it's the Grafton Regional Development Corporation, okay, it's changed its name some. They have an annual meeting on Thursday, November 17th. You can, it's a Zoom conference call. And you've been invited to attend. And let's see, what else? You need to register if you're going to attend. And they're going to elect a new director. And you need to sign and return a proxy statement if you're going to go. If you're not going to go, you can send in a proxy statement. I, for one, I actually used to sit on this group when it was first started, but I haven't stayed in touch with what's going on, so I can't make a recommendation as to what you wish to do, if you wish to do anything.
Well, it looks like they're in good hands, they're good people on there.
Let's see, who do they have?
Julie Griffith
Julia, yeah,
and Jonathan Cooley.
Steve Schneider, and, let's see, those are staff. By proxy, the towns of Orford, Alexandria, Bath, Bristol, Campton, Ellsworth, a lot of proxies there. I don't see one listed. Do we wish to do anything with this?
What are we supposed to do, go on or?
We either go and vote or send a proxy in. I don't feel confident
I
doing.
don't know nothing about it.
Right,
Yeah.
okay. I don't know if it can, well, it's coming up on the 17th, so. Okay, then we'll pass on that one.
We're at the bottom of the pile, aren't we?
Yeah, somehow I thought I had more stuff.
You know, it's not on the agenda, but I would, if we have a couple of minutes,
Sure.
report on energy committee stuff.
Oh, that would be great, go ahead.
So, as you guys probably know, there was this notion of putting solar on the roof of the new fire station, and that went as far as getting some fundraising done, reaching out to people and getting commitments for fundraising so that the system wouldn't cost the town any money. And as we got into, and we got RFPs, we sent in an RFP that was approved by the select board to get a system installed, and when we got into that, it turns out that there is some potential for a solar system to interfere with the fire department's radio transmitting equipment. And we couldn't find anyone who would guarantee that that wouldn't be a problem, or who could guarantee they would fix it if it was a problem, and so that kind of put the kibosh on installing solar on the fire department. So the energy committee, feeling like we have this fundraising, people have committed to fundraising, and solar and electrical power is fungible, so it kind of doesn't matter where we put it, set about exploring where else we might install solar that could be used to offset the town's demand for electrical power. And they've settled on two possibilities, one on the roof of the library, and two on the roof of the garage transfer station building,
Oh, the highway garage?
the highway garage. And they've done some preliminary research, and it looks like both of those are feasible, and I don't think they've reached out, we haven't yet, the committee hasn't yet reached out to people who had committed to contribute money to support solarization of the town of Lyme, but they're in the process of thinking about doing that, and then the next step would be for them to send out an RFP for those two things. They've spoken to the library trustees, who were enthusiastic, I think, about adding additional solar capacity to the library. And they've done some research to make sure that the roof of the highway building is capable of supporting a solar.
Structurally able to support it?
And it looks like it is, and it looks like it
Oh,
wouldn't.
good.
So that's kind of where those things stand. Nothing to do right now. I think the next step will be if they want to set out an RFP for the 2 installations.
Oh, good, because I recall we talked about the highway garage being a good roof, and at the time, I think people thought it wasn't a perfect alignment, but it's such a large span.
It's not perfect. The other potential issue is its proximity to the fire station. And again, the question about,
Is it too close?
is it too close? I think what I understand is that generally there's the consensus is 250 feet is a sufficient distance, and that's about 500. I think Aaron had at one point made a comment about not wanting to allow anything within 500, and the highway garage just is at the edge of that. So
Okay.
there may be some further discussion. There's also, I think somebody noticed that there's a radio antenna of some sort on the highway garage itself. And so there's a question there if, what that is and whether installing solar there might interfere with whatever those radio communications are. So that's something that's gonna require additional research. We may be back in the same problem with the highway garage and radio, but.
We'll see, okay, yep, thank you, that's a great update. I misspoke when I said we just had the 10:27 minutes. We actually, I think in your packet will notice that there is a November 1st set of minutes from our budget workshop that I think is in the packet.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
Well, I whizzed right over it, but,
I'll move them.
I'll second.
okay. And David, all those in favor say aye.
Then I,
David, aye.
Judy, aye. So those are also approved. So Jordan, Quasi-Dina, what else have we missed?
The only thing I have is something you have already approved. It's the emergency management grant that you had signed, but we need your signatures, the boards. There's a bunch of initials as well at the bottom of pages.
Okay, please sign, do your duty, and,
look at all.
just,
Yeah.
I think a
Don't
quick
miss any.
announcement. I think we will be getting something on the town webpage and the listserv showing some additional hours when our tax collector or our deputy tax collector will be available in the town clerk's office for anyone that might be interested. It's in the works, I believe, but it's not finalized yet. It's just a point of information. And what I had, let's see, here's number 1, management salary. Okay. Because I was working off 3 different sheets last night, and because I have limited brain power, I'm not sure. I think that's kind of where we are at this point. We will be going to go into non-public session under 91A3, Roman numeral 2, little c, which is reputation, and little a, which is personnel. So,
Judy,
yes, ma'am.
I forgot to ask a question earlier. I was wondering if there was any follow-up on the plans for the common.
There
I haven't
has-
seen anything in the minutes, so I was just curious.
Right, yeah, so there hasn't been, I would like to be bringing up a discussion, I'm hoping maybe at our next meeting, maybe a way to start with something with the back of the common, but, we've unfortunately been sidetracked by
Budgets.
budgets. So.
Fair enough.
Okay, but thank you for that, and also, I forgot, I needed to report on, I did go to, New Hampshire DOT's, Enfield, facility for a meeting last Wednesday for the pre-construction meeting, everybody's antenna go up, for the bridge. I was able to bring home a set of plans, which will be in the office. David, I don't know if you have any interest in looking at those specifically, probably not since you're leaving town tomorrow. At this meeting, I was sort of a standout because everybody else was involved in the construction or the state end of the construction. But they have a start date projected for April 1st or shortly thereafter. There might be some pre-work being done. They weren't terribly sure about that, and they have a close date at the end of the project of October 25, 2024. And Department of Transportation, New Hampshire DOT is in charge of the project. And Vermont V-Trans had a person there as well because they have a small piece of the project. And that's all I can tell you, but there was no real discussion about alternatives. And I know that this plan has been under discussion in the state for over 3 years, and the contract is definitely awarded, so that's an update for what it's worth.
Did we receive any sort of a response to our letter to,
Haven't seen one. Yeah,
okay?
and last opportunity, do we have any, somebody miss something?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right then, I am going to move, it's 10:18, I'm going to move to go into non-public session under RSA 91A, Roman